Our top story. This week in 40K.
Welcome to This Week in 40K. I guess I'm a little clumsy on the ones and twos this morning with the wrong buttons. I'm Colin and he's Billy, and we're back with the show that is neither grim nor dark, that's about the grimdark, and I am exhausted. How are you, Billy?
I am doing well. I am similarly exhausted, although for, I would argue, less fun and enjoyable reasons. But, you know, newborn children are fun. Life is going,
You promise?
well. What?
Do you promise that they're fun?
It's one of those things where if you just keep saying it over and over and over and over and over and over again, maybe it'll eventually be true. No, my daughter is delightful and I love her. I'm just ready for her to have some form of self-agency, which is an unfair expectation for someone who's not even 6 months old, but I'm ready for it.
Well, parenting at the point you're at is literally just suicide watch. Like, that's literally what it is.
On who?
Well, okay. I meant the baby.
Yeah, there's some internal grim and darkness. Yes, I am very meta in my shirt that is about the show that I'm on. As me.
I got to be honest. This is the week every year where I'm just a mess. I am so tired from Charity Hammer. And I am, I've got some real life adulting this week that's been hard. And so I'm just pushing, you know, it's one of those weeks. I've just got to push, got to keep pushing.
Yeah. I think next year, we might take the week after Charity Hammer off. I think that might be the best self-care option.
Could be. But nonetheless, here we are. So let's do our show because the people, we cannot deny the people of the joy that fills our hearts that we wish to share with them.
As it was said last week, excuse me, sir, I'm speaking to America. And we're not even just speaking to America. We're speaking to the entire world.
That was kind of amazing. All right, here we go. Top story.
Our top story.
What's our top story, Billy? Is it the reason that I'm tired?
Happened. Woo!
Yay!
And while math is hard, I think we raised even more money than our most optimistic expectations leading into it. So, woo!
What about most optimistic? I'm carable. I don't know what word that is. That's great because terrible is not the word I was looking for. I literally have no word idea. Woo, I'm punch drunk. Okay. No, Charity Hammer was fantastic. Always is. This year was the best year we've ever had, quantifiably. I'm just not going to talk this morning. All my words are going to be wrong. I'm going to do the rest of the interview in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. So it's actually going to go really badly. Everyone descended upon my house. We did the thing. It went really well. We actually had very, very little problems. I'm trying to think right now of any serious problem that we had. We had a few internet hiccups, but frankly, it's residential internet, right? Like that's pretty much par for the course. Wow.
Well,
par for the corpse would be par for the corpse is when skeletons are playing golf. Just so everybody's aware. Yeah, so really fantastic. We raised $48,000. Last year we raised about 25, and the year before we raised 40. So 48 is the record. It's the most we've ever done by about 20%, which feels pretty great. It's amazing to think about what this community brings and the love and support that they have for people that need it. Is just really incredible. So very excited about that. For those that want to see the full what happened and thank yous and prizes and everything, go find the wrap-up stream, which is at the end of the streams. War Games Live's probably the easiest place to find that, but we walk through all of that. So $48,000 raised, which is great. Child's Play has it all right now. They've already sent me the obligatory, oh my God, thank you email, which I get every year, which I really appreciate. Charity Hammer wise, the bug off was really fun, Billy. Having the brand new Tyranid Codex out and having them all play each other was great. John did win that, which was a little bit disappointing. I'd like to see someone else win it, but whatever. The GT was great.
But then John didn't win his bracket game in the bug off and busted my bracket. So Josh, who I see in the chat here, I have some words for you.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Yeah.
John likes to play 40K in a way that is, hey, I'm going to make this really clever list and then I'm going to out-clever you.
Yeah.
And sometimes somebody says, well, I've brought a stat check. And that is, in fact, what both Matt Evans and Josh Bagwell did at Charity Hammer. Josh brought 3 Norn emissaries, and Matt brought 1 Norn emissary and 2 of the other ones, the assimilators.
Uh-huh.
And we kind of knew going into the matchup between Josh and John that John was going to struggle. And basically all Josh did was go first, put his giant OC-15 monsters on the objectives. And then John's like, well, I've got nothing. And so that was that game. You can watch it on stream if you want. It's literally OC-15 monsters on objectives. Go is literally what happened there. Because John was playing Vanguard. It just doesn't hit hard enough. And in fact, it caused John to have a whole, maybe Vanguard's not what's best, a feeling for opinion for Tyranid. So yeah, that was a big deal. I lost my first game, which was a big bracket upset for people.
Yeah, that didn't help me either, Colin, just so you know.
I also bet on me, just so we're clear. Mm-hmm. I didn't bet on how little I would think about the mission. That's the thing I should have bet on. So yeah, that was really great. The bracket winner's been contacted to win his Custodes army. Oh, his name is... I have all this written down.
Josh, just to be clear, I'm very impressed with you and want you to get your laurels, which is why I was calling you out in chat by name for personally ruining my weekend.
The bracket was predicted most accurately by Robert Allen, who lives in Arlington, Virginia.
Oh, congrats, Robert.
So yeah, very excited about that. We don't have all the other prize winners contacted yet. However, they'll get emails from us that they can respond to. If they know who I am, they can Discord me or they can email me at bestinfaction@gmail.com. So, or bestintabletop@gmail.com. It all goes to the same place. So yeah, that's what's going on there. We'll talk about the GT in just a second. Let me think. Is there anything else that I want to make sure that we talk about from the actual event? I think what we saw was a new Tyranids book kind of run rampant. Part of that is that, that a lot of the best Tyranid players there are live here.
Yeah. Which
is weird. So we're very Tyranid heavy. And as a result, the book kind of came out and they had lots of things to try. And we did, I think, see Tyranids maybe overperform where they'll end up, but we don't really know that yet. Yeah. So that was the other thing I was going to comment on.
The thing that I want to comment on is just the quality of the War Games live stream and how wonderful as a viewer it was to have him there. Not that our setups are, the best that we've got going and pretty solid setups, but he did a wonderful job. And I just want to shout out Joe as someone who watched. Thank you for helping make Charity Hammer great.
Yeah, we gave him a big thank you. It was fun for me to get to spend some time with him. He was really, excuse me. Sorry, everybody. He was a real trooper. He really was. So the GT is always interesting. And this year, our final four was Ben Jurek on Eldar and Alex McDougall on Nids. Alex was playing Vanguard Nids, which I don't think that he thinks is the direction at this point. Ben brought a pretty meta Eldar list, Avatar, Incarn. He did not bring Wraithguard because his opinion is on GW train. Wraithguard trivialized the matchup. Basically, you step out of the train, you shoot, you phantasm back into the train. Basically, the incredibly clever move there. But other than that, he didn't have a Wraith Lord, just 2 Fire Prisms, 2 Warwalkers, Avatar, Incarn, and some trash. That's literally what he played. Eldar, Ben's incredibly good. He's one of the best players out there, and Eldar is incredibly strong. So we just kind of saw him stomp his bracket. he beat Orcs, and then he beat Orcs, and then he beat Nids, and then he beat Nids. That's basically what he had to do to win the tournament. So he got Alex McDougall in the semifinals, and then Matt Evans was playing his Nids, which was Invasion, and he had two Norman emissaries, or excuse me, one emissary and two assimilators. And he managed to beat Steve Trimble's Death Guard in the semifinals. Steve's Death Guard list is really funny, Billy, because you might remember when I thought it was surprisingly good and no one was playing it. In 9th edition, there was that list where it was like, here's 60 Plague Marines and Morty, and that's my list. Well, now the list is 60 Plague Marines, Morty, and 6 Rhinos.
Yeah.
What, Billy?
No, I was going to say, but what if they were in Rhinos?
Yeah. It's a pretty surprising increase in that list. It literally is a stat check, and I think that Matt stat checked him back. So that's interesting. And then the final was Ben Shurik versus Matt Evans. Ben did not have any problem killing the Norm emissary and assimilators. He said stat check and passed.
Yeah.
And that's basically what happened at the end of the tournament. So really interesting. Lovely to see everybody play at a high level. In the end, Ben does get it taken care of with Eldar. Turns out Ben really good, Eldar really good. That's basically what we found out there. All right.
I shouldn't talk to the TNG guys in a Discord about, hey, why are you guys going to win? Because they're going to convince me. I had Ben winning it, and then I got convinced.
You thought the TNG guys were going to win?
Lucas and Tyler were both very confident in their ability to handle Ben, and they made some valid points, and, then it just didn't play out that way.
Well, I don't think either of them played Ben.
I know, yeah.
Lucas did.
Like I said, I'm gonna stick to my guns. Best player, best army.
Okay. So yeah, Charity Hammer, great fun. Full update is on the stream there, and then on Sunday we'll be doing Best in Faction, and the focus of that episode will be a little bit of Charity Hammer recap, but we'll also mostly be focusing on how did Charity Hammer make us better. What did we learn? What are our takeaways? And we've gotten some players of a number of different skill levels on that show to be able to talk about that in from different points of view. So that should be really fun.
Oh, that will be fun.
Yeah, are we top story done?
I believe top story done. What's new next?
What's new?
What's new, pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
The concept that I'm the pussycat in this context, I will just roll with.
You should.
The Marine Codex is coming, I think. I don't know. There was one preview on Monday, and rumor mills are out there of people having seen stuff in the wild. Then there hasn't been any other previews, but we can talk about what has been previewed with Marines.
Okay.
So, big change. Oath of Moment is now just hit rerolls. It's not wound rerolls. The article says that there will be more wound rerolls spread across the army. If that happens appropriately, I actually think that's better because I think that Oath was a little bit too much concentrated power in one spot, and it made Marines could kill a thing, but then the rest of it was less efficient than you would want. And I think the way Marines want to play is an ability to be efficient across a wider front, where sprinkled out, even if it's just reroll ones, wound rerolls in a bunch of places, would be better than just reroll everything into this one target, is where I've come to on that point. Do you have thoughts?
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think that, there's so much there. Are any of the detachments with their enhancements and stratagems going to be better than Gladius? Right? That's the question. And then what do the actual data sheets look like? Because if the data sheets are the same they are now, and Oath is gone, well then, or rather Oath wound rolls are gone, then it's a nerf. But they're saying that they've added wound rolls to other places, so at this point we just kind of have to see.
Yeah. So the two detachments that have been more broadly previewed than the rest were basically the veteran detachment, the first company one, which basically once per game gets Old Oath, where it gets wound rerolls. It had a lot of interesting defensive buffs. It looks like everyone has Armor of Contempt. That one, the first company one, has a 5-up Feel No Pain on a character that can go to its unit for a phase and a -1 damage. -1 damage, Armor of Contempt, 5-up Feel No Pain Terminators are challenging to kill. So that's just a place to start looking there. The other one that came out is the Salamanders detachment. That every gun in the army is assault. And when you're within 12 inches, it's +1 strength. You certainly see how that benefits Salamanders. If you spread your brain out, that also benefits a lot of other armies. Some of those vehicles wouldn't mind being able to just advance and shoot the whole game. I think you're going to see some, if that's the way they go about the detachments, I think you're going to see some very interesting mishmashes of, well, this is normally what I would take in an Iron Hands list, but it might just be better as Salamanders. Or, this is normally what I would take as Salamanders, but it might just be better as First Company.
And one of the rumors that I've heard is that the White Scars have this is a rumor. I don't know that this is true, but I've heard that the White Scars detachment has an enhancement that makes everything in an aura advance and shoot, or advance and chart. Wait.
I thought White Scars were always advance and charge, which would just make sense if Salamanders are always advance and shoot.
Oh, that's right. But then they have an advance and shoot aura as well, and Iron Hands have an advance and shoot aura as well. Okay. So there's 2 advance and shoot auras as well, from what I'm hearing. One that's for the close combat army and one that's for the vehicle army. So could be really, really neat from the rumors that I'm hearing. There could be some real options there that are better than Gladius.
Yeah. Because at least from my perspective, it was, the advance and do something. The doctrines were the real reason for Gladius, although Bolter Discipline, especially now with the realization of what it does on aggressors, is you're going to have to beat Bolter Discipline aggressors with doctrines for any of the other detachments to make sense.
Except that they lost Oath, which certainly helps them. Well, they lost wound rerolls on Oath.
Yeah, they lost wound rerolls on Oath. So much of their damage was coming in the hit roll anyway that
it matters. I've played with them. It matters. All right, it sounds to me like my kids have not woken up and are not preparing for school, so I have to go deal with that and leave you to talk.
Talking about Marines. So there's that. There are rumors out in the wild from, I believe it's Auspex Tactics, who's been reliable in the past, suggesting that the Imperial Fists make everything heavy, and if you don't move, +1 to wound. Personally, that horrifies me in terms of what it does to indirect fire, because indirect fire is never going to move anyway, and it basically plus the heavy penalty would get rid of the -1 to hit, and +1 to wound sure feels like an unpleasant thing to put on a wide swath of indirect fire. My personal hopes, because wish casting is fun while Colin is away wrangling his children, is that the White Scars one has something to up the damage in melee of the stuff that it will deliver. If the army is always advance and charge, that is a huge, huge benefit. And Marines generally are going to enjoy that. I want something to ensure that they hit just a little harder in combat now than they have under Gladius. Colin, just to catch you up, I was saying that my wish list for White Scars is they have something to up the damage in combat once they get there, which they will get there now very reliably. I want them to hit like they used to. That's my dream.
+1 damage in the third turn was real good.
It is. Give me that. You know how you were saying there's a advance and shoot aura? Give me just a +1 damage aura. That'll be fine. No one would care.
Indeed. All right. What I miss?
That's what you missed. There are quite a few events, and the meta's not a garbage fire anymore. So we might want to jump into what was winning.
I'm a mess. Sorry, everybody. Here we go. What's going on here? It's not working.
What's winning?
Things are winning, Millie.
Things that have not won, things that have been laughing stocks up until this point are winning.
I am going to talk about RatCon 2023 from Victoria, Australia. What? What did you say, Billy?
I was just saying that the meta is new and different. The meta is new and different. We are in the exploration phase.
So I know that RatCon is one of the favorite tournaments in Australia. They absolutely love it. And it's one of their kind of big favorite events. It was run by Reese Cunningham, maybe. And he took Drukhari because he is a person among children. So, Archon. 3 units of 10 Kabalite warriors with all the guns they could take, because there's no reason not to. Mm-hmm. 3 raiders. 3 Kronos. 2 mandrakes. 3 ravagers with dark lances. 3 units of scourges. 2 talos. This is very similar to what JT McDowell was playing at Charity Hammer. It plays the mission well. It shoots relatively good. It's somewhat fast. Frankly, this guy must be amazing. Like, it's a fine army, but it's not. I wouldn't say that Drukhari, unless I'm missing something, which I could be. But from what I've seen, they're not even A tier, even after the buffs.
The potential thing you're missing, which is what Nick is commenting in chat, is that they use custom missions at RatCon, and we're not quite sure how that impacts the overall balance of power.
Ah, there you have it. Okay. Well, let's look at the list anyways. So second place is Boyd Morrill, and Boyd had Grey Knights. Grey Knights are very good right now. They have a few relatively frustrating matchups. GSC is a really good example of that. But in general, Grey Knights got cheaper. So we still have this durable, incredibly fast-moving, janky army that with a lot of guns. Most people are taking 30 Terminators or 20 Terminators and 10 Paladins. This guy has 20 Terminators. Mm-hmm. He actually has some, looks like at least 1 Dread Knight. Let's see. 1 character Dread, 2 normal Dreads. Oh, and Paladins. There it is. So he's got the 20 Terminators and the 10 Paladins. He just has some Dread Knights with it. And then, of course, triple Librarian, which is just a thing that Grey Knights do. Next up, we've got Christian Purse, who is from the Mighty Morphin Power Gamers, which makes me very happy. And he had Thousand Sons, who are still good. Aramon, Exalted Sorcerer, Infernal Master, Magnus, Thousand Sun Sorcerer. Wow, that is really familiar. Then 5 rubrics, a Rhino, a Vortex Beast, a unit of Cultists, a unit of Blue Scribes, and the Changeling.
They're demons that are worse Changeling.
Okay. So, pretty standard Thousand Suns list. Good to see it still doing well. Oh, excuse me, everybody. And finally is Din Sinbek in 4th place. He is from Blog for the Blood God, which I think is good.
Blog? B-L-O-G?
Yeah, Blog for the Blood God. I think Blog for the Blog God would be funny too, but either way.
I'm tempted to find that and just give them a read because that is quite clever.
Yeah. Shout out to Blog for the Blood God. What is it? Bob Blah's Blog. Angron. So this is a World Eaters list, which is the faction I know by far the least about in 40K. Angron, he's a big angry demon that hits people. World Eaters Lord on Juggernaut, he's got a cool mount. Unit of Jackals, 2 units of 8-bound, a unit of Exalted 8-bound, and 2 Khorne Lord of Skulls. What a list.
The Lord of Kegs has a surprisingly good suite of shooting tools, which I think is interesting for World Eater's army. But otherwise, yeah, they're angry, they run at you, they punch you in the face. It's a stat check. They do not punch you in the face nearly as remotely hard as they did at the end of 9th. So you can actually take a punch from them, which is a thing to know if you're playing against them. But 2 Lords of Kegs. Cheers to the blog for the Blood God.
Who's like, what if I took 1,000 points in 2 models? Okay. Next up, we've got the Warhammer 40k Throne of Skulls. Hey, look, we got theme. And it was won by Piotr Hernley. I don't know. Piotr. I don't know, man.
Piotr.
I'm sorry. Piotr.
It's like Peter, but from Poland. I think is how it's Polish. Okay. Peter.
Your wife is Polish, so you're an expert then.
She's Ukrainian, but close enough. They're right next door.
Those are different from each other. One of them is at war, and the other one is not.
That's true.
One of them won the WTC, and the other one did not. They probably have other things done in common between the 2 countries, but those are the first 2 things that came to mind.
I've been to one, not the other.
You've been to Ukraine, I presume?
No. I've been to Warsaw. It's a lovely city. Great food.
Oh, really?
Old city. Yeah.
I've actually heard that part of the world is very pretty.
Yeah.
Okay. Stephanie and I kind of wanted to go get married in a castle in Europe, but it didn't work out. I have seen that there's a castle you can go stay in and play Dungeons and Dragons because Facebook is very clear that I need to see that advertisement all the time. All right. So this is a Deathwatch army with Captain Prelius and then Librarian Drago, which is weird.
Those might be his own personal names. If I had to guess. I'm going to look.
That does seem right. So let's do this differently. Captain, Librarian, Tech Marine, Watchmaster. Great.
Yeah.
And then a unit of 10 veterans, and then 2 units of Inceptors. By the way, I've been playing with Inceptors, or 1 unit of Inceptors, rather. Love them. And then a unit of 5 Infiltrators, a Land Raider, it looks like the Godhammer Laser one, and then a kill team with the custom names makes this a little bit hard. But then a kill team, a veteran squad, a hail strike, storm speeder, and a vindicator. So kind of a collection of different things. Good on him for winning the event with Deathwatch. Second place was Astra Militarum. Boyd Morrill. No, sorry, wrong tournament. Alex Courtney.
Yeah.
Command Squad. Sorry, everybody. A little bit wiped today. Not been feeling good this week. Psyker, Tank Commander. Then he's got basically the 6 units of Cadians. I have been playing with the Catachans and their Flamers riding around in Chimeras. I don't know that that's actually good, but it's certainly where my yum exists. There's certainly dopamine there, Billy. He's only got 1 Chimera, which is rookie numbers. The fact that 10 Catachans with double Flamer and a Chimera all together is 130 points is incredible to me. Right? Like,
yeah, I do think that one of the directions the meta is moving, at least initially, is lots of dudes in transports. Whether that's because the people who like lots of dudes in transports saw the points go down and just want to do it, or it's that plus it's good. I think we haven't quite figured out yet. I'm inclined to think it's good, but it's certainly early returns are pointing in that direction. Have your can openers ready.
Exactly right. So, Basilisk makes perfect sense. It's amazing. Hellhound, very good for its undercosted price and also removes cover. 2 Leman Russ Demolishers, an Executioner, a Manticore, and 2 Scout Sentinels, which of course can make your shooting more efficient. One of the interesting things here is Dorns are actually priced very economically in Guard. The problem is that as good as Dorns shoot, they don't have weapons higher than Strength 10. And so you end up in this matchup where Guard can't kill higher targets. So the Leman Russ harder targets. So the Leman Russ Demolishers end up being really critical to the success of Guard.
Okay, that's a good note.
I spent a lot of time thinking about Guard the last few days because I'm trying to fool around with them as kind of my fun competitive army right now.
Okay. Moving away from Dark Angels, just because we don't know what Marines are really yet.
Just whatever. I don't have a tournament in the next little while, Put armies on table. Smash people.
Fair enough.
Enjoy. Have dudes in flamers and chimeras shooting out of firing holes. Like it's just everything's great. I like it. I want it to be like a video game where the chimera has fire coming out of every angle and is just spinning its tracks in circles and fire spinning around. I'm all about it.
The tank in Wild Wild West.
Exactly. Yes. The giant spider tank. Yeah.
No. The first tank that they drive up to, and all of the racist bad guys are sitting on a target. Like they've cut the grass to be a target, and then the tank rolls in and just shoots it all around. Anyway, I know way too much about that movie. It's not good, but it's very fun.
Fair enough. Okay, next up is a Death Guard list. So I believe we're starting to see some Death Guard appearing, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And this Death Guard list is rocked by Ricardo Malaya. And he's got himself 2 Demon Princes, which is very interesting. I didn't consider them good when I read the rules. They certainly aren't character blocked anymore. And then he's got Mortarion, and then he's got Typhus. It's interesting for him to be like, starting off, I'm going to have 1,000 points of characters.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's got a Land Raider. Then he's got a unit of 5 Death Trouts. Excuse me, 3 Death Trouts. I forgot what I was talking about for a minute there. A Bloat Drone, and then he's got 2 Mythic Blight Haulers. I remember when they randomly went up 80 points a model. That was pretty funny.
That was funny.
And then a Plague Burst Crawler, and then a Brigand and a Stalker.
Huh. So Big Bug's Death Guard.
Yeah. It's interesting. I wouldn't have expected this list to be good, but certainly, I think that's a weird stat check. It seems like people would be able to kill that, but what do I know? So congrats, Ricardo. I'm going 4 and a tie with that at the Throne of Skulls. Our fourth list.
Wait, just quick. One thing, Death Guard with their new contagions are going to make the math weird in ways people are not used to. And so that's just going to be get a few reps into it and learn to play it. Like if all of a sudden your entire army is worse weapon skill or ballistic skill, your mental heuristics of this unit kills that unit is just going to get thrown off in a weird way.
Yeah. Okay. So 4th place is Thomas Aldred Musla. I'm sorry, Thomas, if I got your name wrong. I really gave it a go. And he was rocking out with some Necrons, which is interesting because it says, hold on, I got something weird going on here. It says he's on World Eaters, but he's not. He's on Necrons.
It says here, people are.
He's on Necrons. So he had Trazen, Orokin, Royal Warden, Technomancer, Hexmark Destroyer, Catacomb Command Barge, Catacomb Command Barge. I love these characters where it's like, I took 800 points of them. Here's 9 of them that a lot of 40k lists have now. 2 units of 20 Necron Warriors, a Reanimator, 2 units of Crypto Thralls, a Doomsday Ark, 2 Locust Heavy Destroyers, 2 units with 3 Scarabs, and 1 Locust Destroyer. Interesting list. I feel like it's really focused on those Necron Warrior blocks not dying. I'm surprised he does it in this particular list. I'm surprised he doesn't have the super unkillable Catan. But yeah, there you go. So those are my over the seas tournaments of choice to talk about this weekend.
I actually am going to continue, not necessarily over the seas, but you would need a passport for all of these tournaments from America. The Torneo Nacional Warhammer 40K Mexico, which I believe is just the national tournament of Warhammer in Mexico, in Merida, Mexico, was 55 players over 6 rounds. It was won by Luis German, which is, I'm sure not how you pronounce it, Giles with Thousand Suns. Went 6-0. A lot of characters, a lot of rubrics. So Exalted, Sorcerer on Disc, Magnus, Demon Prince, 2 Sorcerers, and a Terminator Sorcerer. 3 units of 5 rubrics that are Flamers with a single Soul Reaper in them. 10 Terminators, 2 3s of Enlightened, and the Blue Scribes. It seems to me that what Thousand Sons have done is basically just drop 1 or 2 units and still roll with the same overall archetype. They have tons of tricks, can be shockingly and unpleasantly fast, and do hurt you if you get close. That is what they do. Second place, an army that I believe Colin will enjoy me reading, is from Javier Barrera, and it was Dark Angels 5-1. Javier brought the aggressor block, biologist, apothecary, and 6 aggressors. Terminator Captain to hang out with his 10 Deathwing Knights. 3 Ballistus Dreadnoughts, 2 3s of Inceptors, a Land Raider Redeemer, 5 Scout Snipers, a Calidus Assassin, and Voids Men at Arms. Colin, you may,
I mean, it's like 95% the same as my Charity Hammer list. It has 1 Ballistus and less Inceptors. Like that's the massive difference of his list. He has Scout Snipers instead of something Infiltrators, I think. Great list. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't play it as well as I could have. Charity Hammer's never really about me playing well. But it's a very good list. The durability lasts just long enough to really smash them. The Deathwing Knights are incredible. The list is very powerful. Love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just as a starting point, assuming the data sheets and the points that we have now don't wildly change, the aggressor blocks, Deathwing Knights, Ballistus Dreadnoughts are good places to start looking, along with all of the Land Raiders. So these are just like good units that are likely to carry forward. Find something else for those Scout Snipers because they won't exist.
Yeah, and what's happened with Dark Angels is that basically Dark Angels are Ultramarines that have Deathwing Knights. Mm-hmm. If you have Deathwing Knights, you're a Dark Angels player right now. That's it. If you don't have them and you add more Dreads, now you have what everybody's taking for Ultramarines.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then just Nick James in the chat talking about how exaction squads are nerfed. And so now we have Marine players who have to pay 15 more points for 5 idiots. You only have to pay 5 more points for 4 idiots. Inquisitorial henchmen.
Oh my God, they're so good.
Yeah.
Do you know that they're 2 wounds each?
I am very well aware of that fact.
Yeah, so you get 8 wounds for 40 points. It's incredibly good.
Yeah. And because no one knew what an exaction squad model looked like, and no one knows what an inquisitorial henchman model looks like, whatever your generic human in not power armor model, you're probably going to be fine.
Yeah, I actually like them better than the Voidsmen. You get 1 less model, which isn't great for screening, but you get 8 wounds instead of 5. They still have a 5-up save. I think it's better for the 40 points than to spend 50, but it's 10 points. Do whatever. Your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
I will tell you that this is the first tournament where I took the I'm always in tactical enhancement on the captain. Mm-hmm. That was incredible.
Okay.
That was so good. Just to always know you're always in tactical doctrine without having to figure it out was really, really great.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really good list. I think it's the most powerful way to play Space Marines for at least the next couple weeks.
Yes. Speaking of powerful ways to do things, Damian Flores Diaz is here to tell us that the rumors of Eldari's demise were greatly exaggerated. Damian brought a Death Jester, a Farseer, Incarnate Yvraine. So this is a Ynnari list because Yvraine was the warlord. 3 Hornets, 5 Rangers, 15 Warp Spiders and 3 units, 10 Cabalites, 5 Mandrakes, 3 Ravagers, and 2 Venoms. So paying the Ynnari tax in order to dip into Dark Eldar, but there's still an obnoxious amount of MSU shooting that is highly efficient, along with great mission play in Eldar. They are not in the dumpster. They are still very much scary. And if you didn't need enough proof of that, Rodrigo Duarte in 4th place was here to tell you can still do normal old Eldar things, and actually stuck pretty close to the old Eldar formula. Wayleaper, Avatar, Farseer, Spirit Seer, a Lynx, a Night Spinner, 5 Spectres, a Warwalker, 5 Spiders, 5 Wraithguard, and then a Wraith Knight. Rodrigo's Wraith Knight had a Sun Cannon in addition to a Wraith Cannon. Rumors of Eldar's demise are greatly exaggerated.
I actually haven't heard anybody say that Eldar is going to I don't think that those are rumors. I think people all understand that the nerfs weren't heavy enough.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to suggest for what GW was doing. Here's the thing. They're not winning every single event. Every single event is not a laundry list of us reading out, oh, it's the same Eldar list, it's the same Eldar list, it's the same Eldar list.
Well, with all respect to these lists, these are all 50-ish thousand. No, 50-ish people.
People events. These
people
are not
events that are all over the world.
Yeah.
So we'll know more about the meta when we see 100 or 200 person event. I think London GT's next weekend. So we're going to get a lot more data at that point. But I think Eldar is going to still be pretty dominant. I just think that the tournaments we're talking about right now are a bit region focused.
That's also a very fair note. All right, continuing on, and I have nominally 3 events to get through, so I'm going to speed up a bit. Field of Damnation in Saskatoon, Canada, 54 players, 5 rounds.
Why would you go there? Why would you go to the Field of Damnation? It's called the Field of Damnation. Don't go there. Sorry.
Space Marines just go where the Emperor tells them to. And I say that because the first 3 armies are some form of power armor Space Marines. Morgan Smerick won with Ultramarines, a build that I actually find very interesting. So the Aggressor Brick, Biologist Apothecary, 6 aggressors, that also has Marnius Calgar in it. I think that's pretty spicy. I know Kazra brought it to Charity Hammer. I'm not, at least from what I saw, they did fine. But just if I were to do it, that is the spice that I would have. A Primaris Chaplain, Uriel, so that those aggressors can just, straight deep strike. Uriel is fun. 10 Assault Intercessors, 5 Heavy Intercessors, and 5 Regular Intercessors, because we want all of our various flavors of Intercessors. The aforementioned aggressors, 6 Blade Guard vets, 3 Eliminators, 3 Inceptors, 5 Incursors, regular Land Raider, a Redemptor Dreadnought, Calidus, and Inquisitorial Henchman. Couple real power units, lots of tricks and tools. I personally am shocked that everyone seems to have come to the realization that Bobby is not good enough. I would think Double Oath is worth the 300 some odd points.
He's too expensive.
I admit to being functionally wrong, even though my theory is perfect. I will just be Karl Marx on this one with my perfect theory and my horrible and actual execution. Next, no pity laughs to the communism joke. That's fine. We'll move on. Adam Green in second place with just generic Space Marines. The Aggressor Brick with the Biologist Apothecary, Terminator Captain who hangs.
Let's come up with a name for that guy, because you clearly can't say it. We need to come up with a nickname for the Apothecary Biologist, because you clearly can't say the name.
Yeah, it's a real struggle for me this morning.
How about Biopath?
Steve. Biopath, not Steve.
Pathologist.
Steve. I kind of like Steve.
Okay, it's Steve. Go ahead.
Steve, cool. Steve with his aggressors. Terminator Captain with 10 just Terminators, not Assault Terminators, the regular guys. A Ballistus Dreadnought. 2 5s of Desolation Marines. 3 Inceptors. Okay. 2 5s of Infiltrators, a Redemptor, 5 Scout Snipers, and a Calidus. The Desolation Marines are still decent shooting. They're expensive, but the actual, the data sheet absent the points is still effective and scary. Colin is speechless. Let's continue his speechlessness and talk about how Orion Croteau brought Space Wolves and actual Space Wolves and most of the named characters in Space Wolves. Bjorn, Harold, an Iron Priest, a Phobos Lieutenant, Murder Fang, Ulrich, a Lieutenant on a Thunderwolf, and a Lord on a Thunderwolf. That is 8.
Another 8-character list.
Yeah. 10. Those all go into some variety of 10 Blood Claws, 5 Intercessors, 3 units of 5 just Wolves, which is really good value for doing missions. 5 Hounds of Morkai, a Land Raider Redeemer, a Predator Annihilator, and 2 6s of Thunderwolf Cavalry, because this man enjoys a traffic jam on his table.
Man, that does not sound good to me.
Space Wolf players are really trying to make 12 to 18 Thunderwolf cavalry a thing. If they could walk through walls, I would be all over it and pulling those models off my shelf. They can't. But Orion did better than I've ever done at a tournament, so who am I to say thee nay? And then in fourth place, Ozzy Milosh with Eldari. Actually, this one's kind of a spicy one. This is like, what if Sam Hain? Wayleaper, Death Jester, Eldrad, so I guess not Sam Hain, 10 Guardians, 5 Dire Avengers, 2 Falcons, 2 5s of Fire Dragons, 2 5s of Spectres, 3 3s of Shroud Runners, 3 2s of Clown Bikes with Haywire and Glaives, a Viper, and 3 3s of Wind Riders with Cannons.
Oh, the old Tyranid Codex issue. Take whatever you want. It's probably good enough to win.
That would be an incredibly fun army to play with. And really, if you think about it, it's still got a lot of really decent shooting in it. You're never going to efficiently kill any of it because all of it, the stuff is so small. I don't know. Good job, Ozzy. All right, I got 9 minutes to go through 2 more lists. Less editorializing Billy. Lakes of Blood 2023 OCC qualifier in
Also another place you shouldn't go visit.
The Lakes of Blood, no, but Rotorua, New Zealand probably would be.
Where are you going on vacation for the summer? Oh, the Lakes of Blood. It's through the Fields of Damnation. Oh, okay, great.
The final event when we get to the Iberian Open, there you could go and visit. This was won by Hamish Reeve, Chaos Knights 4-0-1. A Rampager, 6 Brigands, 4 Carnivores, and 2 3s of Nurglings. Chaos Knights are just a good data sheet right now for the points. Scary stat check. We've got Hayden Korach in second place with Eldari, also 4-0-1. Brought Azurman, who caught one of the most random points jumps I've ever
Poor
seen.
Azurman.
It just, yeah. A Wayleaper, Fugan, Illic, Solitaire, a Wave Serpent, and 10 Dire Avengers for Azurman to hang out with, 1 Night Spinner, a 5 and a 10 of Rangers, 2 5s of Spectres, a Viper, 3 Warwalkers, and 2 5s of Spiders. There's some fun stuff in there. You know, that Wave Serpent's carrying a lot of...
Fugan with no Fire Dragons?
Yeah, I've been seeing chatter of just Fugan. He is an interesting data sheet. I wanted him to be better. I love my Fugan. One of these days, it'll be the actual best thing you can do.
He's actually kind of expensive, but that's okay. Let's continue on.
Imperial Knights, Joshua McChelsea brought a Crusader, a Warden, 2 Helvrins, 4 Warglaves, and a Calidus Assassin. The 2 and 6, I guess.
By the way, if you guys don't know this Imperium players, the Calidus is auto-include in every list now.
Yeah, she's just really good.
If you guys didn't get the memo, she's really good at the mission for her points.
Mm-hmm. Her CP thing, not quite as good anymore because of the way things got moved around, but it's still just fine value on top of a spectacular mission playing tool that does acceptable damage when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling Arnett. So I assume this is Chuck's cousin, just of the New Zealand Arnetts.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that Sterling spells it differently, but anyway. Brought Eldari, Wayleaper, Farseer, Illic, Solitaire, Spirit Seer, and the Incarn. 3 Hornets, 10 Rangers, 5 Spectres, a Warwalker, 2 5s of Spiders, and the Wraith Guard.
Oh man, these auto lists are so boring.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Solitaire in there.
No, stop it.
Okay. And then the last event, we have the Iberian Open replay La Marca de Egara. I'm not sure what La Marca de Egara is, but it's where they did the Iberian Open replay. This is in Terrassa, Spain, 40 players, 5 rounds, won by Tau. Roger Boria, Anva, 1 Cold Star, an Ethereal, 3 Broadsides, 6/3/3 of Suits, a Ghost Keel, 2 Piranhas, a Riptide. Riptides are back. 3 2s of Tetras, and 5 Vespids.
That's not terribly different than what Donald played at Charity Hammer, for those that want to see streams of it. Mm-hmm. I played against Donald 2 weekends ago, our local Tau player. I'm very surprised at how Tau plays now. It's very fast. and it shoots extremely hard, and it's fragile. So it's pretty different than it was before. But those crisis suits do a crazy amount of damage, and I thoroughly enjoy that they wreck themselves as they do it.
Oh, are they all hazardous and they just mortal wound themselves?
Yeah.
That's fun. Second list, very fast. Imperial Knights, 401, played by OUX. That's your name. Canis, a Crusader, 4 Helverins, 3 Warglaves. So 2 and 7, 2 and 6 seems to be.
Knights doing well even without the ability to Overwatch.
Yeah, I mean, the data sheets are just strong. Third placed, we have Nymerio Stark, which suggests to me that they're just a Game of Thrones fan. But
Spanish Iron Man.
Yeah. That also. This one's a spicy one. This one has Steve with his aggressors, Bjorn, a Gravis captain that I assume hangs out with Steve and the aggressors, a Cyberwolf, an Iron Priest, a Phobos librarian, 1 Ballistus Dread, 3 3s of Eradicators, 3 5s of Wolves, an Inceptor Infiltrators, Land Raider Crusader, a Whirlwind, and 10 Wolfen. Colin, if you had to guess, how many points do you believe a single Wolfen model is these days?
40?
16.
Oh, well.
They have like the most noodle arm of weapon, but they are 16 points a model now. So just a thing to put out there.
Crazy.
And
one less left?
Yep, one less left. Manal Tula with Chaos Space Marines, Abaddon, 2 Lords, 10 Cultists, a Rhino, 20 Chosen, 2 Forge Fiends, 2 4s of Obliterators, 3 Flamers, and 2 3s of Nurglings. So cool. Just moving the points around, and that's your Chaos Space Marines army. An army that I don't understand why it's not doing way better, because I think it's crazy powerful.
All right.
That's what we got.
Yeah, everybody. Sorry for the weird week where we weren't on Tuesday and Colin's blitzed exhausted, but we'll be back next Tuesday. So thank you, everybody, for this week in 40K. He's Billy, and I'm Colin because someone has to be. And we'll be back next Tuesday. See y'all later. Bye-bye.